towns pay 75% based on average daily membership, which is student per class, student per day, and property values. In Governor Wentworth, the town of Tuftonboro and Wolfboro are more property values, so they wind up paying a higher per pupil cost than the rest of the
How did you do ours?
What's it?
How did you come up with
Yours, basically what we've done is we took our general fund budget, which doesn't include any debt service or anything. So you have our general fund budget. We've taken out any transportation costs, additional special education costs, all of those things that you're not responsible for. And then we've divided that by the total number of students that we have in the district to come up with your tuition. Your tuition for the first year is based on our general fund, and it's $10,000. I think it's $10,958. I think.
close, right?
Close to that. We had our deliberative session last week. Now, your tuition will be that for the first year, and we'll only adjust each year based on any increase we have in our general fund budget. So if our general fund goes up 1%, your budget will go, your tuition will go up 1%. And that's basically what's going to happen over the 10-year period of the term.
I'm to understand your cost went up 0.9?
Yes, actually, our general fund went up 0.91%, and our overall budget went up 0.97%. So a little less than 1%. And our default budget this year is $235,000 more than our operating budget.
What about sports teams and clubs and stuff? Are you going to add extra teams, extra positions for our kids to come in? Or are we going to be taking over places of kids that are already there or not be able to get on with it?
It'll be competitive. I think for the regular teams, people will try out.
So we really won't get more advantages. There aren't more places.
Well, there's only a certain number of slots that you can have on a football team, say. There's only so many places on a football team, so your students will compete just like any other students to get those slots. As far as extracurricular teams and all that, we may add more as time goes on. If you remember, up until about 10 years ago, we had Barnstead was tuitioning into Governor Wentworth before Prospect Mountain was built, and those students had every advantage and every ability to compete the same as any other.
Right, but we're going to be taking places from students that are already there. So how are our
So-
kids going to be treated?
I guess what I'm saying is your students will have exactly the same opportunities. Now, if they wind up, if they're more talented on the football field than somebody that's already there, they can get a position. They can be treated just like any other student.
Just a general observation, because during the football thing, I played for Spalding back in the day, and there's 12 or 1300 kids, they fielded 55 kids, nobody was turned away, it wasn't even tryouts. Everybody was welcome to come on the team. I mean, and I'm pretty sure Governor Wentworth has a little bit smaller high school.
I'm not a coach, so I
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I mean, I doubt people will be turned away.
The $109,000 that we're talking about for special education costs, there are revenues that come in to offset that as well, aren't there?
There certainly can be. Yes, there certainly
I
can
just
be.
wanna make sure
There's
everybody's
grants
aware
and
of
all
that.
kinds of government help, yes.
We're working on the new area agreement between Farmington and Middleton. Anyway, if we kept that agreement, we would still be paying the same cost that she's referring to have to pay for special ed in Governor Wentworth. So there's no difference. Yeah, we do. That's just a comment, Jack.
We're going to ask you to keep your comments, Mr. Whitmer, to questions you have for him about Governor Wentworth School District and the tuition agreement.
Before I answer any of the questions, one thing I do want to stress is next Saturday, and I think somebody's going to mention this anyway, but next Saturday, we're having an open house at Governor Wentworth. I hope everybody can come to look at our facilities. We just completed 2.5 years ago a $68 million project. We have a beautiful new art center where the open house will start. It starts at 10 o'clock next Saturday morning. And after a little presentation there, there's going to be school, the high school, and the vocational center. I really hope we're going to be there as school board members, we have students being able to take you around and show you the facilities. And I really hope that you can, come and see what your students will be exposed to. Remember, this isn't all about dollars and cents. From our standpoint, it's really about what we can provide to your students. I haven't been on the board for 20 years for the glory of being on the school board. I think we do great things in Governor Wentworth. I think we're, if not the top school in New Hampshire, I think we're certainly one of the top schools in New Hampshire. I think it's a great opportunity for your students. We can talk about the elementary thing too. Diane Carlson is here from Effingham. We built a small elementary school in Effingham. We had the opportunity to either look at adding on to Ossipee and shipping all the students to Ossipee, or building a school for that community. When we opened that school, there was 103 students. Pretty small elementary school. But this year, they just celebrated their 10th anniversary having that school open. And that school right now is the hub of their community. That is where all the activities that they can happen. And there's just a pride that is endless. So Diane can certainly talk more about that, I think.
Would you like to hear other questions from Mr.
Just
Whitmer?
one question. We got to also remember, this is an accredited school.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got a very, very high accreditation. One of the stipulations, the last time we went through it, we got our accreditation fine. This was before the construction project. And the people doing the accreditation said, next time we come, you're not going to be accredited if you don't do something. Our schools needed to be fixed. The Kingswood High School was built in 1963. Nothing really had been done until we used it. The middle school, I think, opened in 1980. And we had to add on to that, and we wanted some of that facility as well. The vocational center, of course, was built with state funds for veteran. We just added some tremendous facilities. And if any of you have students that are currently in the vocational program, ask them how they like it. I think when 3 to 4 years ago, when I started welcoming the Middleton and Farmington students to our vocational center, I think your numbers were maybe 14 students going elsewhere, and I think we have 40 students that are coming to our vocational center. It's a tremendous program. The classes are just spectacular. And again, we make room. Your student allocation will be based on the number of students in Kingswood, not the number of students that you're sending from Middleton. So I think you have to keep that in mind when you have open slots in the vocational program. Your students aren't going to be counted just as this is the number of kids from Middleton. You become part of the Kingswood community, so you're counted as part of the Kingswood.
I understand that there are in-house needs for special needs students. Would you say that Governor Wentworth has at least as much or more than most schools for providing those kinds of services in terms of physical assessment and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think we have one of the top special education departments of any school district. We are work very, very hard at keeping our students in-house if we can. We have all the support people and facilities in-house that we can possibly provide. We've looked at the numbers. Our special education population is about 17%, which is about the same as the state averages. And the number of students that are identified from Middleton are not getting significant numbers changing what we have to do and the number of personnel that we have in the district. So we're very confident that the addition of the Middleton students will fall right in line with what we're currently doing.
Can we hear from the Effingham lady?
There was a question back here.
Yeah, you went a little fast. What time does the open house end? Is
Oh,
it
it's
10 a.m.?
basically 10 to noon time, and we're hoping everybody can get there around 10 o'clock to give the initial presentations that we're going to do. And then from there, we're going to do the tours. We're going to wind up in the vocational center, food, refreshment,
children come with the parents?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Everybody is welcome.
And just a word of advice, I've been up there for 3 tours during the construction, after the construction, and since then, we're comfortable too. Believe me, it is a lot of walking, but you'll be very impressed.
Could you give us a little bit an idea of how you have extended an accommodation for Middleton parents and residents to come to meetings and participate in committees and that sort of thing?
Well, certainly part of the agreement is that you'll be able to have a non-voting board member be on our school board. Again, non-voting because you're not a member of the board, but you still, we want your input. So you'll have a board member that has all the rights to come to every meeting, sit at our table, come to the special committee meetings, participate in those, and as a non-voting member, we're looking for the input. And certainly any resident of Middleton can come to our board members, listen to our presentations, have public input, public input at the beginning and end of each board meeting, and you're certainly willing and able to come. And our committee meetings are open to the public as well, so if you wanted to attend a committee meeting on academic affairs or one of the other committees.
I understand that after the tour, that your culinary students are going to have some courses.
I
thought everybody needed to laugh.
Listen, I know there was refreshments mentioned, I didn't know how big they were.
I expect a 4-course appetizer. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's way my vote.
I heard a request.
Thank you.
I heard a request from a representative from, would you like to hear from her?
Yes.
By the way, Jack, if you like to move to Middleton, you can be school district moderator.
Jack is definitely he's head of our finance committee. He can explain areas and the numbers a lot better than I can. I wanted to come today as the Effingham rep because I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I feel Effingham is very similar to Middleton. I mean, I could be wrong. I think population-wise, we're pretty close. My town has been very frugal, not really in support of a brand new school when it was first proposed, but we had a full-home schoolhouse basically. We had 4 grades, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in 2 different classrooms. And the rest of our students went to Ospey. We got bused to Ospey every day. So it wasn't a great situation, but when we had an opportunity to get the new school, you know, the taxpayers, they finally came around, they came on board, but I'll tell you, since the school has been in town, I cannot even begin to tell you that the naysayers have definitely come around. It is the hub of the community. Our voting is held there, our town meeting is held there. Any kind of events in the town that people want to use the school building for are held there. So I can't stress enough how important it is to your community, not just for the students and the parents, but for the taxpayers in general. Having that kind of facility in your town. I mean, we're not a wealthy community. Our town, you know, we don't have a big public safety building or town hall. It's very, very small with 2 tiny fire stations. So we didn't really have a place for people in town to come together in a nice facility. So having the school has been awesome.
I have a question. You say you're about the same size as we are,
I think that's
but how as you're going to Governor Wentworth, how is your property tax? Have they increased and made you more valuable because you're going to Governor Wentworth, or has your taxes gone?
I think when you're looking at the town
property
values, it's equalized, like, you know, statewide. So I don't think that's increased. I think when you're talking about real estate appraised values, I think that the values are a little higher because people like to have their students in a nice school district like that. They like having a school in the town for their younger kids, and then have a really nice facility with lots of opportunities for the high school kids. So I think when people are looking to where they're going to be able to move, that's really strong consideration. So that does help as far as that.
You answered my question. I had a hard time explaining it.
How did it affect your taxes overall?
Our taxes, well, we've always been part of Governor Wentworth, so it's hard to really
Well, when
say.
you built this school?
Built the school, there was a little a bump there, but it's spread out. I mean, we're cooperative, so I really can't compare the two to you guys, because you guys are going on your own as far as an elementary school goes, so it's a little different. But the numbers that I hear of what you're paying for tuition for your students to go, that kind of surprised me. I didn't know how that was that high. So, I mean, frankly, I don't know anything about the presentation, what the numbers are going to be, but I'd have to say that you're probably going to get a good value by having a school here compared to what you're paying out. I mean, I don't know.
I want to clarify what he said. He said they built the school fees. Did the town build it or?
We're part of a cooperative district, so that all the towns
Oh,
are part of the
help
school
pay
district.
for the school?
Right. We have a voting member and we all,
It sounded, so
and
you didn't
all
get
the
the whole run of
towns
it.
in Governor Wentworth all vote on all the projects, on everything on the budget. They'll be voting on your tuition agreement, all of our towns will be voting on it, because we're all part of the same school.
Is that an option for us?
A lot of people have asked, it's a very complicated, long process, and I don't think at this point that it's something we would
How do you become cooperative business?
Well, let me tell you, I think right now, since we have a $68 million bond issue, you probably don't want to be part of it, because I don't think you want to help pay for that. But you know, that was a battle. We worked for 5 years through 3 different proposals to finally get a proposal passed by the taxpayers. And let me tell you, we worked really hard. Our school board members went out to the community, similar to what we did here today, to talk to people about the benefits of why we want to do what we want to do. At the end of the day, we got and we're a SB2 district, we needed 60% to get that bond passed. We got 74.8% across the district. That's a $68 million bond, 74.8%. We worked really hard on it. But it was the right thing to do. The parents, the communities knew that we had to do something with the schools. The timing was right, and this was long-term for the students. We didn't, when we voted on to our smaller schools, we've generally taken 10-year bonds to get them paid off really quickly. $68 million, we're not going to do that. We spread that out to a 25-year bond to spread out the payments. You know, I think when your school board looks at the cost of the elementary school, they do their due diligence in finding the best financing program for you. They're going to keep in mind your tax base, what you can afford to pay. They're going to look at what's the best solution, 20, 25, 30 years. It doesn't make sense to me to look at a 10-year bond where this is going to be a building that's going to last for 30 years or 40 years. So let some of the future generations help pay for that. Again, I can't speak for your school board if they decide, but I think when we look at any of these bonds that are fairly sizable, spread them out, let some of the future generations help pay for those. You don't have to all pay it. So it's part of the process.
All right. So we are on Article 5. I believe we're still waiting to get copies of these areas of the agreement. Tuition agreement. Are there any other questions or comments on Article 5?
I just got a comment. I want to make sure that they heard the United States government use K to 6. That's not the case. We approached the government board quite simply because we knew we were getting into the area of unit discussions with Farmington, and simply asked that they consider grade 7 as well. And they were very receptive to that. They instructed their superintendent to go ahead and put together an abstract of initially what would it look like. Does it seem like it's a reasonable approach to do? One of the questions
the area review process, because things are looking good in Middleton, we're moving forward with 7-12 agreement with Governor Wentworth. There are concerns of the requirement to continue educating in the executive. The board, we discussed that. The Governor Wentworth administration about that to see if there's that capacity. And the response was pretty much, we're going to look into it. We're not exactly comfortable that we will have the capacity. One of the other things that came up was that there's kind of push up in that community for holiday kindergarten. In the end, the decision was that ultimately we don't have the capacity to afford K-6. If they were to push for it, it would have meant splitting up our children with various schools in the county or the district. So that's confirm that capacity. But I guess I really want to make it clear that at no point did Governor Wentworth refuse to take our children to gas that they had. That's a very distinct difference between Farmington, where we have been very long-standing relationship at minimum since 1973. This board was told, they voted twice, no, we will not continue to regulate K-6 students. That refusal, that was very profound. So, the dynamic of how we approach the process, I just want to assure you that that's a clear understanding of how the process is. That, in essence, is why we ended up moving ahead and looking at increasing the school. That's why. But at no time did government refuse children. Simply looking at utilization capacity, what they had already. They were willing to take a look at it and see if they did have that capacity. They did that. They did the proper evaluation in their schools.
That was the original reason why you didn't want to go to school in this town, was that they both had refused what you had put out to us in the early past. And now I understand what you're saying. You didn't want to tell us that, you wanted to tell us they refused, because they couldn't put them all in one spot, basically.
Ken, thank you for the clarification. I think Ken is actually right. When they first came to us and talked to us about K-6, we did want to take some time to look at what our capacity was. Geographically, it would have made a whole lot of sense to send all of your K-6 students to New York. The closest, easiest way to get there, most likely. Or to send all of them to Wolfboro. But unfortunately, I tend to say we didn't have the capacity in Carpenter and Crescent Lake and Wolfboro or to take all of the students. So we would have had to split them up about 50-50, and that didn't seem to be the right thing to do. And then even splitting up 50-50, depending on student growth, depending on, again, right now the population is stable, climbing a little bit, not moving a whole lot. If we have any spurt, we'd be at a overcrowding situation in New York if we took and kind of maximize that number of students. So we certainly didn't want to get into that position. Absolutely, we'd love to have your own students if we had capacity for it. I think it would be a great opportunity, but you have the opportunity now to handle hopefully K-6 here with this right here in town, which I think is the right thing for you to do. Again, I can't emphasize enough how important this little school in Effingham has become for their communities. It is their location for every bit of town activity, and you have the opportunity.
All right. It sounds like some, perhaps not one for every person, has copied this tuition agreement. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, because what Mr. Wiggins was saying is that Mr. Berry had said it a couple of school board meetings that New Durham would take us, but only for a couple of years.
and because the overcrowding would be too much, so then we would be with no place to go.
Okay, yeah.
Besides the two votes that the farming school board
Speak up.
besides the two votes the Farmington School Board took to not take our K through 6, at the first hearing for the state board, one of the members of the state board did ask the school representative and the attorney if they would keep our kids, and they both adamantly said no. That's a Farmington.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When and if we build the school, is there a possibility down the road that other K through 6, whatever it is, can come to our school and be educated?
I'd really like to get through this part first.
Okay, all right. That's another one down the road. Okay, thank you, Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your intent in that you've got future plans for Lost Zone and the gym? When is your intent to add that on?
I think it really comes down to utilization, what the community would like to do. For instance, you mentioned the gym.
I know that's what's on there.
Yeah, there's a dotted line up there for a gym, because again, we want to make sure we get into this, we're a very prudent approach. And I think that situation there would be, if we have an outcome, which I presume would occur as it happened in many other communities throughout the state, perhaps the taxpayers in the community would want to move ahead to do something like that, because they do want to expand, beside that multi-purpose area. So again, I think that's really, the footprints in there, to make sure we have that expandability, so we don't end up, planting a big red oak tree, right next to the building, knowing that we may going to have some future expansion occur. Likewise, in the back section. And that's really what happens in design, to make sure that the federal project we put up is scalable from a footprint standpoint, what you use up for the perimeter area, what you want to reserve off, and from a standpoint of building plant infrastructure, whether it be heating, ventilation, and such, that you already have some of these systems in place ready and to expand out for, by having some of those things in place, it's a lot cheaper in the long run to go to add on to a building, whether it be a bunch of housing or whatever the experience So again, those are just put in there, in the instance in which if for some reason populations did suddenly go up in 10 years or thereafter. So again, it's just to have that footprint.
Mr. Mamon.
If you'll see, there's 2 classrooms added to the back there also. That's exactly what he's saying. If we, all of a sudden we got an expansion of population, and we needed more room, we would have to expand that gym also, because that's where the cafeteria, that's where the kids are eating on. So one would go with the other. It's the future, if we have to.
Not necessarily have to go one with the other.
All right, so I'm going to try to focus the conversation on this warrant article, which is about the tuition agreement with Governor Wentworth. Well, we never tabled it. Yeah, no, we never tabled it. We chose to listen to. Yeah. I heard more names. But let me ask you what to do. You want some time to digest the documents that was just passed around and ask more questions? Or would you like to move on to other articles? Move on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is call for all of those in favor of placing Article 5 as read on the warrant in the ballot. Mark, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Article 5 will be on the warrant. All right, so hang on, folks. It's 11:25. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 articles we need to go through. Some of them have budget figures associated with them. Do you want to power through this? Do you want to take a break?
Power.
Power through it.
Power to the people.
That's why moderators have strong ladders. All right, Article 6. Tell the Middleton School District, hang on. Tell the Middleton School District accept the provisions of RS 195A:14 as amended, providing for the withdrawal of the sending district of Middleton from the Farmington-Middleton area. Area agreement, or area 65. And action, okay. Farmington-Middleton AREA in accordance with the provisions of the proposed withdrawal plan filed with the school district clerk. This article shall only take effect if Article 2 pertaining to the bond for the new school and Article 5 pertaining to the tuition agreement with Governor Wentworth School District are also approved. The school board recommends this Article 5 million and the budget committee recommends Article 7 million.
The motion is passed.
Well, I think motion will be considered for discussion Article 6. Do I hear a second? All right. Questions, comments about Article 6?
Move the line.
Ready to vote on that? All right. So, what's that? So, I understand that there is a presentation about the withdrawal plan. My recommendation would be is we go through and get our legal work done, and then we can hang around and see the presentation and have a more casual conversation about that and ask any questions we want afterwards. Is that okay with that? Yeah? Okay. So what we're going to do is just vote to send Article 6 to the ballot as written and read. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? If that article carries, it will be on the ballot. Article 7, shall the voters of Middleton School District raise and appropriate up to $40,000 to be placed in the Special Education Trust Fund, with that amount to be funded from the June 30th, 2014 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on or after July 1. Zero tax impact. The school board recommends this article 5 nothing, and the budget committee recommends this article 7 nothing. Do I hear a motion to consider this article as read? Make a motion, and Baron seconds. Questions or comments on Article 7?
Move the vote. Move the vote.
Ready? You have questions or comments?
I've been advised that Article 7 needs to be part of the taxing.
Right, so, is that a motion? Is that a move to amend?
You've got to go.
So Todd is
I think we needed some more over here.
making a motion to amend Article 7 to remove the zero tax impact. Language.
I just need one.
For a second to that motion.
Go ahead.
You want to talk about the amendment?
Nope.
No? All those in favor of amending Article 7 to remove the term $0 tax impact, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Amendment carries. Any other discussion about Article 7? All those in favor of placing Article 7 as amended on the ballot in March, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Article 8, shall the voters of Middleton School District raise and appropriate up to $10,000 to be placed in the bus capital reserve fund, with that amount to be funded from the June 30, 2014 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1. Again, I read zero tax impact. The school board recommends this article 5 to nothing, and the budget committee recommends this article 7 to nothing. We're in a motion to consider this article as read. Roger Maines. Anybody second? Questions or comments? Do I have another motion to amend? To remove the tax impact, reference to tax impact. Do I have a second? Roger Maines second. You got that, Kelly? All those in favor of amending Article 8 to remove the $0 tax signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Jack?
Good luck.
with everybody running back and forth, what was the amendment to Article 7? Just for
Okay,
you,
so
just for
sorry,
you,
I'm
Pat?
powering through a little too fast there.
No,
Just for you, Pat. Okay. We still have Article 8 open for discussion or questions. And we passed the amendment. Passed the amendment, yes.
I'm just a little curious as to what the rationale is behind removing the zero value tax.
Todd, you want to run forward?
Because I think it was explained before that the district has not adopted the provisions to require a tax impact. There was a previous opinion by the New Hampshire Attorney General's office. Tax impacts could not appear in a warrant article. The legislature fixed that by authorizing you to require it. But that opinion still is out there to say that if the legislative body, you folks, haven't authorized it to happen or required it to happen, it may not be proper, so we want to do it, discretion is the better part of valor kind of thing.
All right, other questions or comments about Article 8 as amended? Okay, all those in favor of placing Article 8 as amended on the ballot in March signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? That carries beyond as read and amended. Article 9, by petition, in accordance with the provisions of RSA 194C:2, 1A, B, 4A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, will the voters of Middleton vote to approve the formation of a planning committee to study and prepare a plan of withdrawal from School Administrative Unit, SAU 61. Do I hear a motion to consider this article as read?
Second.
I heard Roger, do I hear a second?
Second.
Kathy? All right, so this is a petition warrant article, so we can't do a lot about amending it, but we can certainly ask questions and discuss it.
So did you say that we go and join the SAU that we
So do we know is there anybody here who placed this article in the warrant? Who can help us understand why it's here? Yes.
The article was placed on there solely to form a committee. We'll get to that. They will do their due diligence and approach whoever has to be approached to find out. Governor Wentworth, for example, see if Governor Wentworth would accept our school district into the SAU.
Did everybody hear that? Yes.
I thought Governor Wentworth already said no, that they did not want to, perhaps, the gentleman could.
Not that I'm aware of, but it wouldn't matter. That's not the point, Sharon. The point is to form a committee to look into finding out what other SAU we can belong to.
All right, yes.
It's a matter of finding out what our options are, and whether or not we still want to stay with Farmington, given the entirety of everything that's going on.
Okay, yes.
So, if we withdraw, we choose to withdraw, we may still be part of SAU 61, but our kids will be going to the SAU.
Right, this is a larger question. If we withdraw from Farmington School District, are we still a member of SAU 61?
Yes, we are. You have to remember that the Farmington School District, SAU 61, and the Middleton School District are three separate independent entities. SAU 61 provides superintendent services for both Farmington and Middleton. I will say that early on, I mentioned the abstract, tuition abstract, that previous superintendent put together to get an idea what it looked like. There was certainly some consideration to this. State policy in the Department of Education is to make the state board always recommend trying to keep wherever the students are attending school within the serving SAU. For instance, some years ago, Farmington broke away from SAU 44. And SAU 44 was one of the largest SAUs in the state. It comprised of 8 communities, including Wakefield, Milton, Middleton, Farmington, along with 4 other communities. They successfully broke away from the center. We, at that time, had an area union with Farmington. We ended up with SAU 64 for 2 years, which was Middleton and Wakefield. And the appropriate thing to do situation now where the area agreement gets resolved by the voters, and our students, grades 7 to 12 are attending Governor Wentworth, and we build a K-6 school. The committee can review this with due diligence, as again, I mentioned, and come up with a plan and become its own independent SAU. However, we need to be able to provide those SAU superintendent services. There are communities that form an SAU and contracted superintendent services with another SAU, and that could occur for us. So, in the abstract, there was a number thrown into it in the event that we wanted SAU services solely for 7 to 12 students. That's just for a part of it. It did not go into the tuition agreement, nor would it need to be a separate contract. So what this article does, it provides an opportunity to develop a planning committee for our area, see if it's feasible to drop level 61, potentially create our own SAU, and look at contracting with another SAU for superintendent services. So far, there seems to be, a reasonable level of consideration in SAU 49 as it is in Wentworth, not to become a member of SAU 49 and then to provide superintendent services. Very distinct thing. So we would not be part of SAU 49. We are our own SAU contractors, superintendent services such as the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the business manager, the special education director. All of this will be subject to review and consent of the governmental board as well as the Middleton board. Hope I didn't.
No, you're absolutely right, Ken. Governor Wilworth right now says, let's take it a step at a time. If you go through the referral and approve the tuition agreement and move forward that way, then this is an opportunity, again, like I said, to establish a committee, see what the best solution is for your SAU services, student services that are needed. Governor Wilworth does not shut the door on it at all. We want to look at it, but again, taking a step at a time, get the students there, see what the work in the school, and see what the process is going to be in forming an SAU, hiring a superintendent, or hiring superintendent services. It's a good opportunity with not a lot of no dollars involved, at least, to have a committee look at all the options that you have.
Yeah.
Is that what the $30,000 we're paying Governor Wentworth for, 7 through 12, for their SAU services?
That $30,000 was in the tuition abstract, again, as a placeholder and a talking point. That did not go into the tuition agreement. There's no $30,000, no superintendent services provided by the SAU.
So Mr. Welford is still our superintendent for 7 through 12, and would still do the...
Mr. Welford is the superintendent of schools for SAU 61, serves the Middleton School District. Nothing changes until if this article here passes, goes to the committee. The committee has to report back to the community. All of you need to vote what you want to do. So this is not the naming people. Again, this is a public process. It's a study committee.
Yeah, Randy.
That sounds like a great idea. Thank you for doing that, and let's move on.
Who would be assigned to the 2 points? I guess general
committee. Good question.
It's been a while since I've looked at the statutes, prescribed by statute. As I recall it, there are some school board members on it, but I got the sense that there was a very large amount of regular taxpayer residents that would sit on the committee. See Jan waving his hand.
I believe, if I remember correctly, I think the RSA says 2 school board members, 4 community members, a business manager of some kind.
I see an attorney with big fat boobs.
There you go.
He does this stuff for a living, so I deal with this all the time. You're right, you're very close.
Yep.
2 school board members, one member of the financial committee has the statutory authority to make recommendations, i.e. the budget committee, because you have a statutory budget committee.
Yep.
And then 4 public members representing the community at large, appointed by the school district moderator. And the superintendent, who's a non-voting member. All right? So that's who it is. And this is just a study committee, folks. That's your board members.
So cross me, you're gonna get appointed.
I don't see it as a contract.
All right.
The time frame is 1 year. You have until next year to.
After the committee is selected?
That's, you have a 1 year, and that means you've got to get, if you're going to come up with a proposal, that proposal has to be approved by the State Department of Education. So if you're going to make a change, I mean, what the State Department wants to make certain of is that every community has made provision for superintendent services.
Right.
Currently, you have that, as part of SA 61.
Right.
If you're going to make a change, they want to know that what you're going to do to make a change satisfies the statute in terms of being able to provide those superintendent services that are required for your community. So you would either have to, as you said, you can study everything.
That time frame is from when the voters approve?
From the voters approve, basically, the committee only serves for a year.
Okay.
Okay, other questions, Karen?
If a proposal is made and the state board of education approves it, does it go to the voters or does it?
No, it goes to the voters. It has to be approved by the State Department of Ed first in order to go to voters. All right? And if the State Department is
Want to move the
unhappy,
question again, Randy?
I just moved to vote.
All right. And ask a question, go ahead. Yes? Yes, okay. All those in favor of having Article 9 by petition going to the ballot, whether we vote or not, it's going to be there. As written and read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Article 10, shall the district accept and place on file, this is a controversial one. Shall the district accept and place on file the reports of the auditors, agents, committees, and officers chosen to conduct the prudent affairs of the district? Do I have a motion to consider this article as read?
Make a motion.
Second. All right, any comments or questions? All in favor of this article being placed on the warrant as written and read? Aye. Any opposed? Good. And Article 11, essentially, is there any other business that might legally come before this meeting, this deliberative session? Anyone who volunteers to be school district moderator?
You brought up about the tax and taxes, what we might want to do.
I think at this point, we couldn't add that purpose to this warrant. It has to be warned, but it would have to be for next year. Yeah, even though it's no money, there's no purpose. So, all the people who didn't show up, they didn't see that on it, would be left out. Are we done here? Okay, so just to clarify, the school board has a presentation about the withdrawal plan overall, the May and why. Perhaps more importantly, there are three all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you very much.